So I think what you have to start with is the imaginative or the imagination of the sound you want, and that'll hold true on the recital, or let's not call it a recital, on the sharing. That you have to have a mind picture, a feel, hear, imagining picture of what the sound will be before you even play. First thing I think of is this is a rather kind of silky, warm, heavenly, divine melody, and I wanted to go very like on a cloud. I'm thinking of a cloud floating. That's a good image for me, because I don't want any intrusive afterbeats. So what I start to do is I remind myself of the outer voices, like as I've told you before, where I'm thinking. Just floating my arms with the two voices. Now remember to start under, then you're forte, right? I go back to the outline I want, because that's really what I'm listening for, even through the folded in what. Right? So what I was starting to hear was, a little bit of choppy afterbeats that were interrupting that outline that's floating across. So if you think about what you want to hear beforehand, even if you start chopping a little, you want to kind of adjust back to the floating outer lines and just soak up a little harmony with the afterbeats. So, start softer because you're rolling into this, aren't you? You just have a little cushion of harmony, right? Now here you really needed a huge contrast. Now you have the keyboard that's a little harder to do. But I really wanted to hear more. So then you could go. Yeah, so let's give you an idea. So what we're really zeroing in on is before you even play, you have to imagine what the sound is before you do it. Level for this one, wrist forward for the G, the appoggiatura. Exactly. Except there's one place where I'm really going to flesh out that I should jump to right now quickly, because, he has those measures 21, 22 that are in marked contrast in mood to 23 and 24, because so if you don't lift your hand for each of those accented notes, it's going to be hard for me or the listener to appreciate that now he's homogenizing it into total legato, silky smooth line after that as an answer to that. So you have to be very emphatic about 21 and 22 by lifting your hand. I think we decided we were going to go like this. Now we can just float into that. Otherwise, we're not going to get the contrast. So, and that will also occur in 29 and 30 as lined up with 31 and 32. So go out of your way. Every two notes, lift, every two meaning left, right is one entity. Lift your hand like that in pairs. Yeah, because I think it fell into a legato there in those measures. 21, 22, we're kind of going into legato, and 29 and 30, we're going into legato a little bit. Okay, so we were saying, go out of your way to listen for the accented notes, the G, bom, bom. Now, it's orchestrated bigger with all these voices, and then you can do a little louder here because you got to go down.
Yeah.
And here, fall down. Yeah, that's a tricky place. First I would do this, watch. I gotta get the right fingering right. Yeah, because I'm outlining, and that's basically what I want to hear. I don't want any intrusive afterbeats. So you're just floating your counterpoint, your upper and lower voice. Like I'm accompanying myself. I'm saying, okay, I'm the collaborative accompanist, but that's the middle line, the folding in beats. That is not the soloist. I'm singing my solo up on top. Right, so this one, go out of your way to be, look, just play them. Look how light. I'm going out of my way to just look like a cloud, a very wispy, light cloud, or the afterbeats. Light, 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 light. I would just keep reminding myself of the top line at this point. Ta-ya, chi, ta-ya. I mean, I would use some kind of vowels and syllables to just float me down. Ta-ya, not even syllables. The first one is a ta-ya, ya, ya, ta-ya, ta-ya, ta-ya. Any kind of syllables and vowels together to make it float down. Because then I really want that to cut through. Ta-ya, ta-ya. It's hard to do. I would even go deeper on that. Ta-ya. Now that's a good balance right there, because I hear the A more and this didn't pop out. But that's a lot of tactile practice, like, muscle memory kind of stuff. Delay this F sharp a little bit, because if it comes too soon, it's probably not in the right place. Chi, ta-ya. See, there was a slight delay there when I played the F sharp D. Yeah, so don't anticipate that last afterbeat.
Right. Yeah.
That's like what that book, Just Being the Piano, talks about. It talks about a note coming a hair breadth too soon can change the phrase. I love that line when she says that. A note coming a hair breadth too soon. Don't I ever experience that myself? So that's that. You can work on that in the same way that you will work on 29, 30, 31, and 32, or go to 32, because what's the difference is where he does this, right? That dark harmony.
Yep.
It's so gorgeous. And by the end, that's the balance right there. Yeah. The balancing is tricky in this piece. But those are the main issues. I don't think there's much else when you were playing. Oh, maybe 17, 18, and 19. I think what would help, I think what would help that is if you if you're after beat on the third beat, 1 and 2 and 3, and it would be the and of 3, yes. If that's softer, can you make the third beat a little softer? I'm talking about the right hand, because otherwise it does sound very vertical. In other words, you need to shape your chords. Even if the chords are the same ones, you don't want to get into this. They're all the same. Yeah. So I would start getting lighter on all my third beats, I think, and let the left hand do all the shaping and the in and out and the, the swells and all the thing. But let the right hand just kind of simmer down the third beat of the right hand. That I think that will improve it. Lightening your third beat. Think of the right hand, the third chord, as being a little bit lighter, because you're shaping your left hand pretty well. Now when you do it again in 25, 26, 27, and 8. What I do artistically is I want to do something slightly different with the left hand cello line there. I think what I do is I get a little schmaltzy there, especially when I do this. What's what I do the second time? I tend to do this. I get softer on that F sharp.
Yeah.
And it works. You don't want to do overboard, but it's sort of like it makes your heart skip a beat a little bit there when you do that.
So the first time, Shirley, in 17.
Yes.
I'm just a bit unsure with the third beat in the left hand. Can that shape?
The left hand you were doing very well.
Yeah,
the left hand just does its thing, Decay. mean, you already know how you want to hear that. I think the issue is the right hand third beat after beats. Yeah, that's the one that can get really in the way of us paying attention to the left hand more than the right, because we don't want to know about all these up and down chords. We want them to enrich the harmony of the melody.
Yeah,
it's like you're accompanying yourself.
Yeah,
you're a soloist and you're an accompanist at the same time in this, which is basically what's happening. Especially in these parts where you can see clearly it's a cello that you are impersonating, and you're maybe the pianist upstairs doing those chords. So you got to be both. So I think you're sculpting the left hand quite well. I was just trying to refine the right hand. But again, I think when I get to measure 27, I don't want to hear everything the same. Because this is romantic music. It's Russian romantic. And you can afford, if you were the tenor singing this, I would probably go under that F sharp, the second one, and dip it down, so it just does something different. So that's a lot of layering. This is a layering piece. It's a wonderful piece for balancing voices and knowing what the protagonist is at any given time, where your attention should be, and what should not interfere with that floating cloud feeling across.